All right, what are we doing here? It is 9:10 here, Big 550 KTRS. Still fighting that cold a little bit. Feel better, but still not back to 100%. I'm playing hurt today, but I'll do it. I'll muddle through it. Phone numbers. Well, first of all, let's apologize to those who are watching the Addams Family. We're sorry. We're cutting into your Addams Family Marathon for a live broadcast of KTRS Radio on KPLR 11.2. That's the over-the-air channel. If you have an HD antenna, you can get 11.2. Also, if you have Charter Communications, you can get Charter. That's channel 187. You can watch us on TV. You can certainly listen to us at stltoday.com. Go to the opinion tab. You can watch us online there at stltoday.com. You can watch us or listen to us if you want at ktrs.com right there on the front page. You can download our app. And don't forget, we're always on 550 on your AM dial. Now, so let's talk Dennis Hastert for just a moment. And I know, look, I am guilty as charged of maybe I'm putting more energy into this than is worthy. Maybe for whatever reason, this is just sort of, I don't know. I don't know why. I can't answer that. But, and defending somebody who did something that might be indefensible is not necessarily what you really want to hang your career on. I understand all of that. And I'm certainly not going to somehow defend, if it's true, what Denny Hastert did as a wrestling coach 40, 50 years ago, when it is now alleged that there was at least one boy, who's now a man, who he somehow abused. We don't know. A whole bunch of rumors, whole bunch of, sources, unidentified sources. But for argument's sake, let's just assume those are correct. There's no statute of limitations has run out, and so they're not going to get him for that, and so whatever else. So, but what really, and we've talked about this a lot, but our government and the powers that our government have over us, and there's a certain amount of things we give up for our safety, like screening our calls, like checking our emails, right? All of these things that so we sort of give up, taking our shoes off at the airport and taking our belts off, and driving 55, and all these things we do to protect the rest of us, right? That the government sort of puts their overall power on us. Which, hey, you want to live in a free society, you're going to have to pay for it, and you're going to have to do these things for the betterment of society. But when the federal government passes a law that says, hey, if you're taking more than $10,000 out of a bank, we need to know about it. Why? Because we need to go after the mob, and we need to go after the drug dealers. And the drug kingpins just have so much cash that we can really track them, and we can really put a dent on the war on drugs and or terrorism because they live off the grid. We need to monitor everyone's withdrawals and deposits over $10,000. That's really, talk about all this NSA, wiretapping and everything. That seems to me like a very serious thing that the government wants to follow us on. Anytime you buy a house and you write a check for over $10,000 as your down payment, right? The bank is supposed to, well, hey, you know what? Millhaven's buying a house. Millhaven's buying a car. Millhaven's doing, right? That seems, I don't know. Millhaven's took out $10,000 for no apparent reason. Wonder why. Let's go knock on his door. That seems really kind of intrusive to me. But, hey, been a long-time law. It's part of the Patriot Act that if you take out $10,000, they can check on you. And if you take out under $10,000 as a reason to avoid detection, they can also go after you. Okay, fine. So, Denny Hastert, former Speaker of the House. I think I like this story because it's not a left versus right story. It's the right isn't coming to defend him, and the left isn't coming to. And the left is, Alan Dershowitz, who is by no means a conservative, right? He's a good liberal lawyer. He's coming out defending Denny Hastert. And a lot of people on the right are sort of cutting ties with Denny Hastert. So maybe that's why I like this story so much. I don't know. But so now it comes out that he's being arraigned this week on lying to the feds and trying to circumvent these banking laws. Now, quite frankly, he wasn't trying to circumvent the banking laws for anything illegal, because paying hush money isn't illegal. I want you not to say anything. I'll pay you $3 million. Don't say anything. Okay, fine. Millhaven, you're fired. Here's a nice severance check. You're not allowed to say anything. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Tracy Morgan, you were just run over and almost killed by a Walmart truck. Walmart is going to pay you a lot of money, and the families of the people who died in that accident a whole lot of money. Guess what? You're not allowed to say anything. Tracy Morgan doesn't say anything about Walmart. Buying someone's silence isn't illegal. So this individual A decides to enter into an agreement with Denny Hastert. And their agreement concludes with $3.5 million to be paid to individual A for whatever reason. Now, we can assume that it's not illegal because buying your silence, one, isn't illegal, and for anything else. Because there's no blackmail charge, there's no extortion charge, there's no nothing. So circumventing the banking laws to pay off a bill is not against the law. I don't want the federal government to know I'm buying this piece of property, so I'm going to pay it in $9,900 installments. They come to you. What are you doing? I don't like banks. Okay, fine. He wasn't doing anything illegal. Now, let's talk about lying to the feds. Feds come to you. Now, we all know, and I said this on Friday, we all know that when the feds come to you and ask you a question, they already know the answer to it. That's obvious. Okay. So now, the feds come to him and say, basically, Denny Hastert, we know you're taking out $50,000 at a clip. You better tell us why. And if you don't tell us why, we're going to indict you. Right? So then he says, well, wait a minute. Well, first they ask him why. He says, none of your business. Then he says, oh, wait a minute. I'm tipping off the feds. I'm now going to start taking out money underneath this nine. So then the feds come to him and say, whoa, wait a minute. You're now doing this to avoid what we'll do to you. So therefore, in a sense, the only real blackmail in this case is what the feds did to Denny Hastert. He was basically blackmailed by the feds. This individual A wasn't blackmailing him. He was blackmailed by his own government that said, if you don't do it exactly this way, we're going to arrest you. And we want to know what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. And if you don't tell us what you're doing and why you're doing it, we're going to arrest you. I'm sorry, but I am standing up for Denny Hastert. If you want to argue that he was a terrible Speaker of the House, that he helped shepherd through Medicare Part D, the largest governmental program in the history of mankind, if you want to argue that he shepherded in the Patriot Act, which was terrible, which is now being repealed by his own party's Senate, if you want to argue that the earmarks, the 15,000 earmarks that he appropriated, If you want to argue that he bought land and then appropriated this earmark that then increased his land value, go ahead. If you want to complain that he made millions of dollars off of his Speaker of the House role since he retired, and that's go ahead. I'll probably agree with 85% of that. I just made up that number, 85%. But you cannot blackmail the man and then arrest him for entering into a agreement with somebody in an out-of-court settlement. If you want to arrest him on pedophile charges, on sexual abuse charges, on sexual aggravation, knock yourself out. But you can't arrest him for what he did. You just can't. They're going to lose this one, and they might lose it big. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. I got it out of my... the more people I talked to over the weekend, I talked to a number of people all around the country, friends of mine, other talk show hosts around the other country, just having conversations like, explain to me what Denny Hastert did. And they, oh, no, he lied to the Fed. I'm like, well, wait, what did he do wrong? He wasn't buying drugs with the money. He wasn't buying off jihadists with the money. He entered into an agreement. Look at all the financial institutions that paid billions of dollars, that manipulated the markets, that broke laws, that basically brought down the world economy and paid a fine in the process of billions of dollars. And with that, there was no admission of guilt, but they're paying $9 billion and $10 billion and $25 billion, and this will settle all the claims, and this will do that, and this will do that, right? All of those things with no admission of guilt. If the big banks can enter into an agreement with the federal government on that, why can't Denny Hastert enter into a similar agreement with another independent person, and then the feds arrest him for it? It would be like us arresting the feds for entering into an agreement with one of those financial institutions. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. Those are the phone numbers, and that's my rant for the day.